A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. When Jesus had finished all his words to the people, he entered Capernaum. A centurion there had a slave who was ill and about to die, and he was valuable to him. When he heard about Jesus, he sent elders of the Jews to him, asking him to come and save the life of his slave. They approached Jesus and strongly urged him to come, saying, "He deserves to have you do this for him, for he loves our nation, and he built the synagogue for us." And Jesus went with them. But when he was only a short distance from the house, the centurions sent friends to tell him, "Lord, do not trouble yourself, for I am not worthy to have you enter under my roof. Therefore, I did not consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and let my servant be healed. For I too am a person subject to authority, with soldiers subject to me. I say to one, 'Go,' and he goes. To another, 'Come here,' and he comes. To my slave, 'Do this,' and he does it." When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him, and turning, said to the crowd following him, "I tell you, not even in Israel have I found such faith." When the messengers returned to the house, they found the slave in good health. The Gospel of the Lord. Today's gospel is a wonderful story of humility, a wonderful lesson about humility for all of us. Think about it. First of all, the centurion, a very powerful Roman soldier. A centurion meant he had 100 soldiers under him. He was very powerful, and the centurions were the backbone of the Roman occupation army. And this centurion, even with all his power and with all his influence, with all of his servants and slaves, was worried about a slave who was ill. He worried about him, and he cared for him. And he humbled himself enough to go to see if this Jesus could heal him. He asked the elders of the Jews, and this again is an incredible part of the story, because the Jews hated the Roman occupation army. They hated the Romans. And yet he asked the Jews to go to Jesus, and the Jews went and they said, "Think about helping this man. He is a good guy. He loves our country. He's helped us. He even built the synagogue for us." And if you've been to Capernaum, you've been in the ruins of that synagogue. He's a good guy. They humbled themselves, even though they hated the Romans, they humbled themselves to go to Jesus knowing that this was a good man. And then Jesus, as he's approaching the centurion's house, the centurion comes to him and says, "Lord, don't enter my house. I am not worthy to have you enter under my roof. Just say the word. Just say the word and my slave will be healed. I'm not worthy." Again, he humbled himself. Even though he's a very powerful man, he humbled himself before Jesus Christ and said, "I am not worthy." What a powerful story today for all of us. What a powerful example today for all of us of humility, how we should be, how we should act. And isn't this such a contrast to what we see in the news, to what we see in our politicians, to what we see in the way we're being governed? These people are about themselves. They're all about ego. And yet Jesus says, it can't be that way with us. We must humble ourselves and think about others first, not ourselves. Think about others. Wow, if only our politicians thought about us once in a while. Anyway, it's another homily. Jesus asks us to humble ourselves before him and to think about those. I'd like to tell you a story. Actually, my son told this story last week at a high school convocation to all the students. And apparently it's a true story. Apparently it was on the internet. And it's a story about two girl softball teams, and they were playing for the state championship. I don't know where it was, but they were playing for the state championship, and they were tied, and they went into extra innings. In the bottom of whatever inning it was, a girl came up and hit a home run to win the game. And she was so excited. She was jumping up and down, and she ran to first base, and she jumped on first base, and she tore all the ligaments in her leg, and she fell to the ground. And she was laying on the ground in tremendous pain. Now, of course, if you know the rules of baseball, you know that if she doesn't touch all the bases, the home run doesn't count. Also, the rules state that her coaches and her teammates cannot help her. She's laying on the ground in tremendous pain, and the girls from the other team came, and they lifted her up, and they carried her to second where she touched the base. They carried her to third where she touched the base. They carried her to home where she touched the base, and the other team won the game. Who is the winner there? The girl who hit the home run, or the team that carried her so lovingly? Who is the winner there? The parents, the spectators who saw what those girls did? You see, our society tells us that we're winners if we think of ourselves, but Jesus tells us that we're winners if we care for others, if we think about others. So today, let us humbly approach the table of the Lord. Let us humbly approach our God. I don't know about you, but I'm not worthy to receive him in the Eucharist. I never will be, not even close. And we come today and we say, Lord, I am not worthy to have you enter under my roof, but only say the word and my soul shall be healed. Only with you am I able to receive your body and blood. Not because I did anything, but because you did it for me on the cross. I love the words of the prophet Micah, who said, walk humbly with your God in everything you do. Walk humbly with your God, and this will lead you to the truth.